Well, I brought the shrimp to the shop here in downtown Woodland, Washington, the Angler West Tackle Shop, and they're doing great. I kept 18 of them in the garage in a tank I set up there, and I'll show you that. But these guys are just doing fantastic. The water temperature is staying cool because it's still cold here. I think it's 52 degrees right now in the water. And I did, the last few days before I brought them in here, I did crank it up. I put a heater in there and I brought them up to 70 degrees for a couple days, and they were fine with that. You know, they had little swimsuits on, they had little drinks with umbrellas. You know, they were running around. Their metabolism was really high, and so I'm not too concerned about temperature. Although when I get 300-400 shrimp in here instead of a couple dozen, then it's a little bit of a different story. That would be my concern, is what's going to happen to the ammonia when when I dump a whole bunch of shrimp in there at once. So I'm hoping this can handle it, but that would be my problem, which might seem like it's the temperature that's the issue, but temperature's not the issue. I don't think it would be ammonia and nitrites. So right now I just tested, and you can see that this light colored one, that is ammonia, and the purple is the nitrites. And and just about any living thing, I think, anything I've ever experienced would die in a heartbeat in water that looks like that dark purple. That means high nitrites. So these guys are tough. Now what should happen here is the ammonia's drop, nitrites are way up, and next the nitrites should drop and the nitrates should increase, and nitrates aren't nearly as toxic at all, and that can be controlled either with plants or just a few water changes. So I'm hoping that within a week or so, and this has taken longer than I thought it would for sure, we're going to go on 2 months for this tank to cycle, but hopefully we're almost there. But no doubt about it, these guys are tough as nails. Now I did add some live rock and some plants, not really plants, more algae, but I'm hoping that's all going to become part of the system here. And a lot of bacteria over those rocks that the water's flowing over. And I added a little bit more sand, some good quality sand, not too much because they'll burrow and they'll be hard to catch. And these are bait. We're selling these for bait, so we want to be able to catch them easy. But they seem to enjoy this just fine. Now let's go to my garage and check out the ones that are digging down in the sand. So this is the 55-gallon tank that I have set up here in the garage for the sand shrimp, and you can see how they build volcanoes and dig holes. They're just like earthworms. They'll dig down, they eat as they dig, and they're turning up the soil, and which is a good thing in a lot of ways, unless you're an oyster farmer. but they'll aerate the soil. I was worried about putting 6, 8 inches, 10 inches of sand in there. This is just beach sand, ocean sand. I was worried about that because of the chance of anaerobic bacteria, or bacteria growing in the absence of oxygen in there. But with the way they dig around in there and turn this over, I don't think that's going to be an issue. They're all there. I put 18 of them in there, and they're all buried in there. Yeah, but man, when they hit the water, I remember that first one I put in there, he dropped in and he just dove down and just didn't hesitate at all. He just went straight into the sand. It was pretty cool to see. He was all over that. They definitely like this finer sand as opposed to the other stuff I have in the other tank. But they are doing well. And when I was layering the sand in here, I put food in there for them, so as they're digging around, they'll find food. And I guess I'll just keep shoving food down in there. I don't know. I did put some on top, which I see is still there. So doesn't look like they've come up at night or anything, and on the surface, they're all buried down. I have the salinity set very low, specific gravity of about 1.015, probably about 21 parts per thousand of salt. So that's more like a brackish situation, which I think sand shrimp that's what they are. They have to be where they live mainly. There's a lot of fresh water coming in, and they're a brackish animal, I think, more or less. But I think they can handle any salt level, really. I've had them way above like the very high range. I've had them real high, and I've had them down real low, you know, lower than this, or I had to add salt, and it doesn't seem to affect them much, at least in the short run. So these guys have been in here, or these are the originals. We're going on, about 7 weeks now, and everything's good. So I don't know what's going to happen, but they're not too exciting when they're just sitting there like that, but they're doing fine. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned.